I want to bring in Simon Benson, political editor at the Australian newspaper, on today's Newspoll. Peter Dutton, Simon, really focusing on that first home buyers policy. It's a big push from him. He's trying to lift that primary, doing everything he can, but at the moment, according to your Newspoll, no signs of that happening just yet.
Good morning, Kieran. Good to be with you. Look, I always find it amusing in campaigns, as you probably would too, that both leaders try to claim underdog status. It's pretty clear that there's only one underdog at the moment in this race, and that's Peter Dutton. Of course, the caveat to all this is you and I might be having a completely different conversation in a week's time, but let's just focus on the numbers as they are today. The Coalition's primary vote, again, has fallen another point to 35%. This is sort of dangerous territory for the Coalition. The 35%, they haven't been at that level since before the referendum, a voice referendum, and it's actually now lower than its last election result, which, of course, ended up with the Coalition having the lowest representation in Parliament since the Liberal Party was formed. On the other side of the ledger, though, I wouldn't be jumping through hoops just yet if I was Anthony Albanese. Labor's primary vote is stuck at 33%. It hasn't actually been able to get above that level for a year. To May 2024, I think, was the last time it got above 33%. Now, of course, that is also at the level it was at the last election, which for the Labor Party was the lowest primary vote that had ever gone to an election contesting since the Great Depression. So this poll, I think, confirms once again that it is still a pox on both houses. The primary vote, collective primary vote for both major parties is at 68%, a couple of a decimal point below where it was at the last election. So we're looking at a repeat. And I guess the exception in this election is that the last election, Labor didn't have Victoria to worry about. So I think that's the wild card now as to whether or not it's Labor being able to form a majority government, tripping over the line, or it's tipped into a minority government.
The expectation is that there will be, the expectation in the poll, more people think now Labor will win. I did have a senior and well-placed Liberal saying to me today, just be cautious on jumping too quickly on these numbers. We had similar numbers back in 2019. They believe the vote is still soft and fluid, Simon.
That is true, and it's a tighter race this time than it was last time. I get that from both sides. I mean, they often say the vote is very soft, but I think the polls do indicate that, and the fact that a lot of people aren't necessarily paying much attention to this election campaign at the moment. So there is a softness of in the vote. But in saying that, at 35%. It's a very steep hill for Peter Dutton to climb over the next 3 weeks for the Coalition to have any chance of pulling off an unlikely election victory. I think it's still at this stage looking like a possible hung parliament, a likely hung parliament, and you'd have to say that the odds are that it'd be a Labor minority government. That primary vote for the Coalition is so low at this stage of the campaign that it would take something quite remarkable for that to be lifted up to the levels where the Coalition be in with a chance. But as I said, you and I could be having a different conversation in a week's time.
Yep. Maybe those launch policies land, and it's part of the shift in the momentum. We'll see, Simon. I look forward to catching you next Monday. Newspoll again a week from today. Thank you, as always.